are you from?
I am from Norwood, Pennsylvania, but I recently moved to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
How old are you?
I'm 25.
When did you start pursuing music?
Journey began when I was probably around 10, when I saw Back to the Future Part 1. There was that part with Marty McFly, and he plays at the Enchantment Under the Sea dance, and he rocks a Gibson, I think it was a Gibson hollow body. And I just saw him do that scene, and I was like, I want to do that, man. It's really cool. I was going to curse. Yeah.
What is there to look forward to in the future from Ryan Beatty?
Hopefully a few cool websites, one of them being the major project in my life, which is Fanraiser, is a website for artists who don't want to depend on record labels or anything of that matter, and they just want to, just make money for their art. So what this site does is it takes those dedicated fans that the band has that pretty much are keeping the music business alive by buying like records and stuff. But what it does is it takes these fans and it offers them a new way of getting more out of the artist by supporting them financially. So there's they can go and they can buy like set lists from shows, they can buy CDs, they can buy anything, any personal items like Xboxes, iPhones, iPads, like
anything that... What made you get into the music industry?
It just kind of like, you just kind of get integrated within when you start playing music, and especially on the level of dealing with labels and stuff. Like, you pretty much have just become woven in with the music industry. So I guess like as soon as I decided to play music and I played my first show and made my first like fan, I guess that's like how, I guess that's the time where I wanted to be in the music industry.
What was your first show?
Garage Fest 2001 at my house in Norwood. I remember it was like an early spring night, and it was like really foggy and stuff, and we just like promoted it through our high school, and we had a lot of people show up, and it was definitely awesome. I smashed my first guitar and only guitar. I just felt like it signified like the start of like really being into the whole music thing. So it was a cool show, definitely.
What artists have you performed with?
A lot. I mean,
what are some of the bigger names?
The bigger names, DMC of Run DMC, we played with him in the House of Blues in Atlantic City. Hidden in Plain View was a big band at the time we played with. Good Charlotte. A few others, I'm just drawing a blank right now, but sorry.
Who were some artists that inspired you?
Some artists that inspired me: Mark Hoppus of Blink-182, Brian May of Queen, excellent guitarist. My father, who was an artist, he played bass in a band called Lick back in the 70s. Yeah, it's pretty much. I mean, I always draw a lot of inspiration from a whole bunch of different artists. Don't even have to be big, just someone I see that's doing something they really believe in and that they love wholeheartedly. So, yeah.
What motivates you to make your music?
Living life in general, just like every day, just having like a new challenge, either whether a good challenge or a bad challenge. I mean, I really write the lyrics, so I guess to try to transcend what I do musically, it's definitely from just pretty much living.
Now, you said that your father was a musician. Is the rest of your family musicians?
My brother played a little bit of guitar, but for the most part, I kind of like took it from just being like a hobby to something a little bit more. I mean, I definitely can honestly say I have never truly made a living off of music directly. It's definitely very hard, and I admire the people who are able to.
What was the first song you ever learned?
It was Wiped Out. I forget the artist who originated Wiped Out, but my dad taught me. on my guitar on Christmas morning.
Is there anything certain that you need, like, when you're recording? Like,
I need to go into the studio with definitely a clear mind, so a necessary mini vacation or just time off from work and stuff is pretty much the necessity for me to record and to do a good job.
what do you want your fans to take, like, from your music, like, when they listen to your music?
I want them to take what they want to find within a band. I want them to take take the lyrics from it, the musicianship. I mean, it's just pretty much like, music's, you can't really hold it and stuff, so it can become whatever you want, You're just kind of given like the brick and mortar to build whatever you want to build out of it. So yeah, I would just say I want my fans to take whatever they want.
What's your fondest music memory, like musical memory?
There's so many.
Like, what's the biggest?
I mean,
one in your
I'm
mind?
staring at one over there, the Mushalo. Probably when we played this fashion show for Betsy Johnson and Diesel, and it was just really cool to play up on there's a balcony up top, and it was just like the perfect early fall night, and like all our family was there, and it was just like a really cool. I never played like a fashion show, so it was just really unique, a very unique experience that really tied in a lot of good things, and there's a lot of good people that came that night. So I would have to say, yeah, one of my great fond memories was definitely playing piano on that balcony of that ship.
When you joined A Hero from 1,000 Paces, what did you originally go out for?
Guitar. Yeah, I wrote a whole story about that on Facebook the one day. But yeah, I was told that they're needing a guitarist, and I was like, I've been playing guitar for a while, I think I can do this. So I went to meet with them at a TJF Fridays, and then they asked me a bunch of questions, like what's the hardest thing you can play on guitar? And I'm just like, I don't know, these questions are kind of weird because it doesn't matter if you can play like the most complicated riff or something. Just, if you can write good songs, I mean, the Beatles weren't, wizards on the guitar, but they just knew how to write a good song. So I went there, and yeah, they thought that they would just ask me a bunch of questions about guitar, and then come at the end of the dinner, they were like, actually, we need a piano player. And I was like, so then my mood changed, and they just started talking about random stuff at that point. I don't really know why they would even invite me out to dinner for just to hear them talk about a bunch of guitar-related questions, and then until they switch over to, but by the way, this dinner has nothing to do with you coming to play guitar. It's about us needing a piano player. So I left that night, and something inside was like, you're making a mistake if you don't lie to them and say, yeah, you play piano. So I called them up, and I was like, hey, forgot that, yeah, I mean, we were really, talking about a lot of fun stuff about, guitars and stuff, but yeah, I mean, I've been playing piano for about 6 years or so, and just kind of, dabble with it, so if you still need a piano player, hit me up. 2 weeks later, they called me up, and they're like, yeah, you want to come try out soon? And I was like, sure. And I was like, shit. And I was like, can you give me 2 weeks? So I got 2 weeks, and I just went on YouTube, and I just started, and I had this junk piano, so I was kind of watching YouTube videos and figuring out how to put your fingers where and what makes a cool sound, what makes a little shitty sound. So 2 weeks went by, and I learned their songs, and convincingly I went there and tried out, and they bought it. I came with fresh equipment too, because the 2 days before the tryout, I went to Guitar Center and I maxed out my credit card on piano and a keyboard amp and stuff. And I did it, and I sold them a lie. I grew into the lie. So it's never good to lie, but at that time it was probably one of the few times in your life where it's acceptable.
And out of that, did a lot of good come?
Yeah, I mean, those hero days were probably, that was the pinnacle so far of my musical adventure. I learned a lot about the music business. I learned there's a lot of bad people in it. As soon as I joined the band, we got a upstream deal by Island Def Jam, and that was a pretty big deal, especially back then, because major labels were still like really doing well. They it was during the times of like Fall Out Boy. We actually got signed by the A&R who signed Fall Out Boy and the Killers. So it was an exciting time, and they gave us a nice advance. And but the guy whose label we were on at the time, One by One Music, he was a very crooked man, and he took the upstream money, and he took off. And that was like that money was for like our video for the record and like touring, touring money, and gone. It's a bad time.
How often do you practice?
Honestly, right now I haven't played like consistently in probably the past 4 or 5 months. I've been so busy with the website and so focused on that just like I kind of neglected my other love right now. To kind of this site's such a big deal to me and to my partner Nate, that like I can't let him down, I can't let myself down, and I can't let all these people I've told about the site and they're really excited about it down. So yeah, it's been collecting dust, honestly.
When can we expect you to pull out the guitar or pull out the keyboard?
Soon. After March and April, they're going to be 2 busy months, because that's going to be, the site's I think going to launch late March.
Do you ever get nervous before performing? Or?
I used to get real bad. Like I used to not be able to play certain parts because my hands were so shaky. Like yeah, I used to get real nervous. But as I got older, I grew out of it. But yeah, I remember the day I had shaky hands so bad. So I would get so excited and like so nervous and so like meticulous with my playing that I just would psych myself out and get and I would choke a lot. Like I definitely played a few bad shows because of it.
You're performing on stage, do you ever make any mistakes? Like, do you ever miss a kid?
Yep, all the time. But that's music. That's playing live. It's like people don't want to come and see like perfection. They want. I mean, they want to see like just the natural, organic, musician up there. And I rock out. I move around a lot. So yeah, definitely gonna screw up a lot too.
2 handstands on your keyboard.
2 handstands. Yeah, I've done one of those in a long time.
What do you prefer more, guitar or keyboard?
Definitely guitar. Work the crowd better. So definitely guitar.
You've been in, what's your favorite so far?
Hero. Definitely Hero. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to say it definitely was like the wildest, coolest time.